Hey, how's it going? Alex here from IdeaSpot. In today's video, we are building a website using Kadence and Elementor. We're using the free versions of both. I think for a beginner who wants an easy way of building a WordPress website, this is probably the easiest way of building a WordPress website in 2021. So this is what we're going to build today. Very clean and professional looking. You'll learn how to do all of this in today's tutorial. So if that sounds interesting, then keep watching. Okay, to do this tutorial, you'll just need a blank WordPress website. If you don't have WordPress yet, that's cool. Just head over to my blog. I've got some hosting recommendations for WordPress over on my blog. Just click hosting over on ideaspot.com.au. I'll put the link in the description. Overall, I really like Cloudways. I think for beginners, SiteGround is excellent because everything is bundled up. You get your email, your domain name, your web hosting. It's all quite smooth setup in terms of ease of use for beginners. So I quite like that one. Setup tutorial is there on that link. And for the advanced users among us, developers, Vultr is excellent value. If you don't mind running your own server, we've got the tutorial there and you get 30 days free trial. So quite a generous free trial from Vultr. But anyway, let's get back to the Kadence tutorial. So the theme we're obviously going to be using is Kadence. So let's add that new theme. And we just search for Kadence there. That's the one we want. Click install and click activate. From here, it's going to prompt you to install Kadence starter templates. And this is where Kadence gives you the choice of using Gutenberg or Elementor. So if you watched my earlier video, I compared these both. You get a small performance boost by using Gutenberg, but the ease of design using Elementor is much better. So I think for beginners, this is probably the best overall free method of building a website in WordPress. I think if you're a bit more comfortable in WordPress and you've got a bit more skill, you don't mind a bit more of a fiddly interface, you can use Gutenberg. But today we're going to use Elementor with Kadence because they've made some big improvements to their Elementor side of things on Kadence. So here we can see Kadence's Elementor templates. At the moment, there are 5, but they're looking to grow this as the year progresses. So at the moment, we've got Real Estate, which is a basic business website template. We've got Print Shop, which is a really nice shop, which you could use for any kind of WooCommerce shop, really. Course would be a great online course if you're running LearnDash in particular. And Control B is sort of like a versatile business theme, and Web Agency, another very versatile online business theme. So today I might use this one. This is probably the most versatile out of all of them. You'll also notice that you can switch between Elementor and Gutenberg up here anytime you like. So if you want to go back to Gutenberg, you can go back there. But today we're using Elementor. So let's go ahead and click Web Agency. And this is what we've got. And one of the best features of Kadence, and you even get this in the free version, is this color scheme and font selection tool. So right from the start, you get to choose your color scheme and your font family. So I really like blue. I think in most cases, a blue theme is very professional and trustworthy. So the default one there up the top, that looks quite good. You've got blue and you've got gray. And I think most professional websites will look good. And there's this one as well, which is a bit of a more aqua, and this one here is a more of a bright. This blue pops a little bit more. I quite like this one, so maybe let's use this one today. And for our font family, they've got different combinations there, but you can actually change this after you import them. You can go into the theme customizer and you can change to any font, but let's have a look at maybe this one or this one. I think this one is kind of interesting. So this one's called Prosa Libre and Open Sans. So let's go with this one today with the nice bright blue. And you can see that when you scroll through, changing the colors actually changes the colors throughout the website because these colors are all linked to the theme. Same with the fonts. You can change the fonts and you can see what it will look like. But let's go with the ones I was selected before, the bright blue with the Prosa Libre. Once you've made the selection, you can choose to import just the single page or you can import the full site. The full site actually has, I think, about 7 separate pages here with plenty of sections per page as well. So lots of pre-designed sections that you can use for your own site. And we'll get onto building that in just a second. But let's go with the full site and go ahead and start importing. Now this can take a while because it has to import the demo content and install any plugins that we don't have already. So it's installing Elementor and Fluent Forms, the free versions of those, as well as your demo content. So just be patient while this imports. So after a while, the import will complete. Then we can click Finished and view the site. So here we are. So this is our Elementor site. Now with Kadence, what we're going to do is we're going to allow the theme, the Kadence theme, to control the colors and the fonts our header and our menu and our footer down here. And for the rest of the content throughout the site, we're going to allow Elementor to design the layout and the content, the headings and the buttons. So that's how this is going to work. I think the first thing we'll start with is this logo, because this little lightning bolt is not my style. Let's change it to an idea spot logo. So let's go ahead and hit customize here. I might open that in a new tab, and the theme customizer will load up. So this is your standard WordPress theme customizer, and we have all the Kadence menus here, and we can see we've got our logo up there. I'm going to click that pencil. That'll take us to our logo. I want to change that logo. Let's go ahead and upload some images while we're here. So let's go ahead and drag in some images for this tutorial. So here's a few stock images. I'm just going to drag those into our media library and upload those. Just wait for those to upload. So that's all good. Let's go with this white light bulb and select that one. I'm going to skip cropping that, and we've got our little white light bulb there. The logo is somewhat small by default there at 20 pixels. Let's boost that up to 40 and see what that looks like, shall we? Let's make that 40. That's a bit bigger. Every client will always tell you to make their logo bigger, so that's how you do it. And while we're here, we can have the logo just by itself, the logo and the title, or the logo, title and tagline. So let's just try the logo by itself, just a little bit more minimalist, and hit publish. And let's just double check that this looks right on desktop and tablet and mobile. We'll see here that we need to turn off the text for the mobile as well. So just go to logo there. And for tablet, same thing, just logo. So there we go. We've got that set up the way we want on all three forms of device. You can customize that specifically for each mobile, tablet and desktop as you like, and go ahead and click publish when you're done. The other thing I like to do is just make this header full width, because it has a bit of a margin on the left and right there. So let's click that pencil there and let's go full width. There we go, and hit publish. So while we're in our Kadence customizer, we can actually go back to our main menu, just clicking that back arrow, and let's go to general. This is where we can actually find our typography and our colors, and we can change the site-wide colors and the site-wide fonts just through here. So we go to colors and say, okay, I want to change the blue. I want that blue to be a little bit lighter. So we go like there, and same with this one. If we want it to be a little bit lighter, we can go ahead and do that. And then that's, if you want that changed a little bit slightly, it'll change it throughout the website. So that blue will be consistent across the website, if that's what you want. I like the original color that we had there. You can just go ahead to the gear icon there and discard your changes. If you don't like anything you changed, that'll just bring it back to how it was. Same thing with the typography. Under general typography, you can change your heading font family. Like we saw before, it was Prosa Libre for our headings. We can change that to anything else, and that will change it site-wide. There we go. You can go ahead and try any font you like there, but I like the one I originally chose. And so this is how we do it. We can update our site for any little minor design changes. It saves a lot of work going through and changing all the headings when you decide, okay, I'd like to have a different heading font for a change. You can do it all in one hit with the theme customizer. The header functionality in Kadence is actually very, very powerful. I'm going to stick with this for today, but if you want to have some more detail on Kadence headers, I've done a full Kadence header tutorial previously. I'll link to that in the description. I've also done a very, very detailed tutorial on Kadence when it first came out as well. So I'll link to that one as well. That's got some details about the footer, but I really want to focus on just Elementor today. So quick header and a quick footer. I'll go down to the footer. I just want to turn all this stuff off actually. So let's go there, and we can just, we can delete those widgets just by clicking the X there. Get rid of that whole row. We just want a nice simple footer for today. I think we want to handle most of the content in Elementor. So I'm just going to turn those footer widgets off. And this footer widget here, this footer widget here, I don't want those social icons. I'll turn those off. And just a simple message at the bottom, copyright message, idea spot WordPress. All we do is just make it copyright and year. I think that's fine. Hang on. Copyright year and site title. There we go. Copyright 2021 idea spot. I think that's good. I'm not a fan of this color. You can go to the design and just go ahead and get that background color change, shall we? So to do that, we click the back arrow. We are customizing the footer. Footer background color is that brown color there. We want to go for let's go for the strong text color, that dark blue. I think that's a bit more attractive. Go ahead and publish. So that should be sufficient for today. Just a quick footer and a simple header let's get on with using Elementor, which is the focus of the tutorial. I'll link the other tutorials in the description if you want more details on using this theme customizer. Okay, so let's close out the customizer. We are back on our page. Let's reload that and we can see our changes that we made there. Looks all good. Now we can start editing this in Elementor. So that will load up our Elementor page builder interface. So if you've never used Elementor before, it is pretty friendly. It's made up of these sections. So if you hover around your page, you'll see these blue tabs. Each blue tab is a section. So we've got a section there and a section there, and we can scroll down and we can see that we've got sections all throughout the page. You can go ahead and remove the whole section by clicking the X. I'm going to Control Z to undo that, and you can add new sections by hitting the plus. I'm going to remove that by hitting the X. So that is how you add and remove sections. Inside the sections, you have columns. In this case, we've got 2 columns here, and you've got 4 columns there. You've got 1 column here and 2 columns here. And inside each column, you've got the elements themselves. So these are made up of usually headings, text, and images are the most important ones. Headings, text, and images. So these are the ones we're going to use mostly today. Buttons are pretty important as well. There's heaps of different elements, but honestly, 90% of your work is going to be completed using headings, text, and buttons. But we can have a look around the page and see what else there is besides headings, text, and buttons. So this image is actually an image carousel. So it consists of 4 images. If we click the pencil there, we can change those images. Clicking on each image gives details. Now, it's really important if you're using a carousel that they're all the same size image, in this case 800 by 800. If I was replacing these images, I'd want to crop the images beforehand to 800 by 800 and upload them into the library and replace them. In this case, I don't have any 800 by 800 images, so I won't touch this for this case. I might just remove this carousel. I actually don't like carousels too much because you have to load 4 images for the section to load, which can be slow. If you've got a slow mobile connection, can slow down the loading time. And this section looks quite busy as well. I think it's easier just to remove the things that we don't really want, like things that are going to not really suit what we're going to do. It's easy to just remove the things that we don't need. If you're worried about deleting a template and not being able to get it back later, what you can do is save a template into the templates library. So you can grab a section. I'll just grab the top tab there, right click, and we can save it as a template. So I'm going to call that selected works, and we can save that. Now we can keep that selected works in our list of templates, and we can use that in the future anytime we want. So for example, we could just scroll to anywhere on the page that we wanted to add that template, go ahead and add a new section. We can click that template folder there, and we can grab our image grid. What was it called? Selected works. That was the one. Insert that one and click yes. And there we go. That'll pop that selected works template into our page at that position. Now we'll have 2. We'll have one here and one down there. So we can go ahead and just keep the one that we want or delete the one we don't want. All quite simple to do. Now, one of the important skills you'll learn that isn't related to just point and click, because most things you can just point and click. A heading is point and click. Text is point and click. You just edit the text there. You edit the heading there. You can edit the button. By clicking the button, you add your link in there, so you can add any link to any page on your site in there, just https://yourlink.com, for example. And there are also background images and colors. These are a little bit more tricky because you can't obviously click anywhere and seem to access this picture of this guy in this background. How do you do that? The way you do that is through the section style. So you actually have to go to your section. This is the whole section that involves this blue color and this picture of this guy. So we go to style in the section, and this is where you'll find our guy there. So we can change that to picture to something that suits our own website. So I might go to the picture of the story bridge there, insert that. There we go. We've got our bridge in the background instead of the guy. I actually don't love this picture. Let's go with something else. Let's go with the girl using the laptop. Maybe that's a little better. Maybe try a different girl. Let's go with this one. A little bit more simple in terms of its background. So this really looks nice on the blue background. I think we'll go with this. Now you've probably noticed that the picture has this blue overlay. You can get to that by the background overlay option there. So it's got the color sitting right there. We have got our color in there and the opacity is set there. So you can get a color. What I'd recommend here is click the globe picture there. That'll take you to the global colors, and you want to go not these top colors here, the ones below the line there are our Kadence theme colors. So always stick to your theme colors when possible. You have 2 main colors. You have your text colors, your subtle text colors for things like subtext and footnotes. And then you have your background colors, which are mostly light and just very light shades of your main colors. So those are our background colors, our text colors, and our theme colors. So we can change that color if you wanted it to a brighter blue. We could go with the other blue instead of the first blue that we were going with, the second alternate. So as a designer, it's always best to keep it simple. 2 main colors, and then your text colors and your background colors. So those are the colors that we're using in Kadence. As I said before early in the tutorial, change your colors through the theme customizer. Let the theme handle your colors and fonts. And we can tweak the amount of color that comes through on this overlay with the opacity. So that we can slide that up or down. If we slide it down, we get less overlay color, and we slide it up, we get more overlay color. This is good sometimes if your background is a little busy. It can be difficult to read small text on a picture background like this, so you can increase that opacity to make that easier to read the text. Another little tip for putting text above an image to make it more readable is to add some blur to the actual background image. So just go over to your favorite software for image editing. I like to use just canva.com as a free option, and you can just add some blur to the image, and that will make the text easier to read. It'll make the background more of a background, and you won't focus on the picture. You'll focus more on the text. That's a design preference. You can't do it directly in the free version of Elementor, but you can tweak your image to suit that method as well. And right under this top section, you've got this next section, which are the reviews. Now we can go ahead and just remove the whole section, or we can edit those to match our own reviews. So each thing is just an image. So we've got an image there. Again, that is pretty much a square image, 120 by 130. This one is 120 by 130. So if you were to change those, you'd want to make your own images that match that size so it all looks uniform. These little star things, you can add little star ratings out of 5. Go ahead and click that. This is called a star rating. Between 0 and 5, you can have 0 and 10 if you want as well, up to 10 stars. So tweak that how you want. 4.8, you can just tweak that. Say if we wanted to drop it down a bit to 3.8 if you're using it for some other reason. Quite a handy little element to have in there, but I don't think I really want to have this section in here, but feel free to keep it and change it to your own preferences. So removing it, I think, looks a bit cleaner. Sometimes it's good not to overwhelm your viewer with too much content. So this looks quite clean and simple. It's worth noting that these sections are all fully responsively designed. So they look good on desktop as we're viewing them now, but you can go down to the bottom here, change the responsive mode to tablet or mobile, and see what it will look like there. So it's designed to look good on a tablet, and it's designed to look good on mobile. So it's best not to go ahead and try and change these too much or start building your own sections as a beginner. It's best to edit the ones that they've already designed, because they've already done the work needed to make these look good on all devices. Now, so as long as you stick to the original designs of these sections and just edit the content to suit your project, you'll go really well and you'll get a good result without having to do much work. The only small problem you might run into sometimes is if you make a big heading and it has a word that's too long to fit on a mobile screen. So for example, if you were going to change that from teaming up with real experts to collaboration with real experts, let's go ahead and look at that on a tablet. It looks all good, but on a mobile, the collaboration doesn't fit on the screen. It breaks off the edge there. So what you can do there in that case is, while you're in mobile, go ahead and look at that heading. We can see it's set to title and HTML tag is an H2. We go to style and go to typography there. And then we just have to change our size specific for mobile here. And we'll just make that size so it fits how we want it to fit on there. So let's just adjust that. I think 38 looks pretty good. We can go ahead and click update. And so it's just going to be size 38 on a mobile, but on the other devices, it's still going to keep that original size. But as it scales down to mobile size, it'll look right on a mobile. So anytime you edit one of the sections, just repeat that process. Make sure it looks right on mobile and tweak it as needed just to get the size of the heading to fit on the mobile screen. Let's go back to desktop. And in this case, I think these two sections are much too similar. I would actually remove one of them because it's good to go a plain section of text and an image section, a plain section, and then an image-based section. So it breaks up, visually breaks up the flow of the page. This selected work section here, if we click the pencil in the corner, we can see this is a basic gallery made up of 9 images. And if we click on it again, we can see these images are all 600 by 600, 600 by 600, 600 by 600. So if you wanted to use this section, go ahead into your favorite graphic software, edit the images so that they are 600 by 600 and insert them in there if you wanted to use this kind of layout. Now, I think it's worth talking about buttons just briefly. I think buttons are a great way to draw users' attention and give them a call to action. So if we go back here and we try to drag a button in here, a standard Elementor button, we can see that it's imported the correct colors and it looks pretty decent by default. We can center it like that. But I think it doesn't really match the original buttons that they've used on here. So they've used a white with a blue. So, I mean, we could go to the trouble of styling the button from here. We could change the size, the padding, the text, and get it to look the same. But it's really much quicker to just delete that button. And if you want a new button somewhere, just copy an existing button and just put it where we want to use it. So just paste it in here, for example. And there we've got our button, and we can just go ahead and change the text on the button and the link on the button. That's a much easier way of keeping the buttons consistent across your page. Just use the same button as the designer has already done, and it's going to save yourself a lot of work. I should mention the undo feature in Elementor. This is a really tremendous, powerful undo feature. You can look at history down there. All your edit history is saved. You can undo any as far back as you want in your session. So let's say I want to go back from before I pasted that element in. I could go back to the next thing, and that removes the thing I just did. We can go back as far as we want in this session and undo anything, or we can redo anything that's happened so far. So very, very powerful little history button down there. It's tucked away, but it's quite a good little feature. So by this point, you'll have enough skills and familiarity to go through the template and change the text, change the images as you see fit, remove any sections that you don't need, and you'll have quite an attractive looking web page without doing a lot of work. You can also mix and match sections from the page. Let's go to our page here. We can go to the top left there and we can view the page in a new tab. We can see we've got our page here. We've got 7 pages in this starter template, so we can go to the contact page, for example. They've got that top section and this section. We've got the about. This is quite good. It's got a top, and we've got this nice, simple little paragraphs with an image right there with lots of nice white space around it. We can edit that in Elementor and say, okay, I really quite like that section with the text and the image on the right there. So we can go ahead and copy that section. And we can take that anywhere on our site. So I can go back to our main page tab. Let's say I wanted that to be the second section of our site. We can add a new section and go ahead and paste that section in. There we go. That was from our about. We can pop that here. We can go ahead. Again, we've got an image carousel. I'd rather just have a image there. So let's actually delete that. And let's just put in a regular image. Drag an image in there. And let's choose a picture of this guy. Who's this handsome guy? That's an old photo of me. Long before all this happened, before I got married. I've got much less grey hair. So there's me, and I focus on building strong, intuitive, dynamic sites. Fair enough. Your words, not mine. Again, we've just added that in. It was pretty simple. So let's have a look at what that looks like on a tablet. That's pretty chill. And mobile. Again, that works just fine. So just always double check when you add things and edit things. Just make sure you haven't messed anything up on the responsive view. And if you're happy with everything, we can click update to push all this live. So that's the basics of editing in Elementor. I've done much longer tutorials on editing in Elementor. I've built an entire blog site on Elementor. I'll link to that one in the description as well. It doesn't use Kadence, it uses Astra, but the actual Elementor section, it's the same concept. So if you want to do some more examples in Elementor, check out that tutorial. But let's go back to our website. Let's view that page in a new tab. And we can see we've got changes that we've made here. So collaboration with real experts, that long word. I think long words, man, don't use them if you can. If you can think of something simple and short, you can have more engagement with your audience. So team up with real experts is a better way of saying it. I just wanted to use that example of a long word that doesn't work on a mobile. So just keep that in mind. One other really nice little tip you can do with Kadence Elementor templates is you can mix and match the starter templates. So if I go back to my dashboard and go to our Kadence starter templates, so that is starter templates here, we were using the web agency starter template. But if we want to use a different starter site, we can grab a page from a different site and pull it into our own website. So let's go with, say, Control B, and we can check out the pages that they've got here. If we wanted to import a single page, we can see the page templates here. So let's say we don't have a features page on our current page and we wanted to add in a features page or maybe a pricing page. We could click the page that we want to import and we can just import the page. We don't have to override our colors and fonts. We can actually inherit the colors and fonts from the page that we've already built. So we can start importing that page, import the demo content, and now we actually have a pricing page importing into our existing website. So that takes a few seconds. When that's done, we can click there, we can view the page, and this is part of our website. So we can see that it's inherited the fonts, the colors, the buttons, everything has come in from the site that we've already built. It doesn't look perfect because the header is light text and it doesn't really work with the design of this page, but everything's basically here. If we wanted to tweak this and make it look a bit better, we'd open it in Elementor. And all we really want to do is just edit this top section so it works better with the heading. So we want to make it darker basically. Go to our style and we've got our color background here. Let's just change that. Let's go with the theme color. Let's go with the alternate accent is quite good. And then these basically need to be, rather than being the light text, the dark text, they need to be the light text. So style, the text editor, let's go the typography, text color. And we're going to go with the white or off-white. Same with this one here. We want to go with the style. Text color needs to be white or off-white. So that looks pretty decent. Maybe this one could also be white. That could be good as well. Text color, again, we want to go white. So that's a lot better than it was. And then update. Now we can go ahead and look at this page. We can go to view the page. And that looks a lot cleaner. If we wanted to add this pricing page to the menu, all we'd do is go to the customizer, then go to our menus and our web agency menu. We just have to add the item there. We can add our new pricing page in there. Easy as that. Hit publish. I might actually move it further to the right. I like to have the contact as the last page on the list. I think that's better. Hit publish. So here we are back on our home page. We can load our new page that we imported from a different starter template, but the fonts, the colors, everything, it looks all cohesive. Quite a nice thing that you don't really get with other Elementor templates. The other really cool thing is now that we've imported this, we can actually use these sections in other parts of the site. So if we love this pricing table and we wanted to use it on the main page, we could just go ahead and copy out that section, go over to our main page, for example. Where was that? Here. And we could go ahead and add a new section and just paste in that pricing table onto our main page. Again, we need to change that section background because we're using a colored background here. This is a white background. So edit the section, go to the style, background. We want that background. Let's just use a gradient, for example, and choose our colors. We'll use the strong text and the second color should be maybe the theme accent. There we go. So that looks pretty cool. That text down the bottom maybe could be rather than gray, we could make that white text, or maybe subtle. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. The only other thing worth checking is the white space might be a little bit off, given that we just dropped in a new page into our existing page. So we could actually just add some spacing in, say below this column here. We could just put some spacing in. So I might just add a section and just put a little bit of just a 50 pixel spacer would look good, and just space that out a little bit better. Maybe a little bit more actually. 80, I think that's better. Down the bottom, again, that's probably a little bit of spacing below that text would be nice. Okay, that looks better. Okay, update. Back on our main page, we can see just a few clicks. We got a really cool pricing table added to our website, just like that. And that wasn't even part of our original starter template. We got that from a different starter template, integrated a pricing page, and put that on our main page as well. So a very nice little thing that you can't really do with most other WordPress templates. The next thing we're going to look at is the blog page. So this is a little different from the other pages, so it's worth learning how to edit this page. You'll notice that the blog is a special case. It doesn't have edit with Elementor on there. If you go to edit page, there's nothing we can really edit. So let's go back. The way that you edit this blog is by going to Customize, and it's edited through the Kadence theme customizer. So it's not as intuitive or as flexible as editing in Elementor, but it's still pretty cool what you can do with the Kadence blog archive page. So to do that, you just go in your Kadence theme customizer, we go to blog posts, and we're going to go to archive layout. This is our archive layout, and you can change the settings here. So you can show the title or not. We can add the title back. You can change the archive layout by clicking around there. I've done a full tutorial on Kadence blog, so I'm not going to go into too much detail in this. What I will do is link to it in the description, but definitely check out that video as well. It's only 20 minutes. It's called Kadence Theme Blog Pages and Posts. So I'll go through and how to make a really nice looking blog page in the Kadence Theme Customizer. It does take a little bit of skill, but any 20 minutes you'll get the hang of it, and you'll get a nice looking blog page. But by default, the blog pages do look pretty good. All you have to do is change the background images and tweak the layout and background to suit what you want, and you're good to go. One last thing worth mentioning before we wrap this up is the contact forms that this page uses. So if we look at contact, we can see that there is a contact form down here. Now, if we go to edit with Elementor, we can see that we've got the contact form right down here. If we go and click it, we can see that it's actually linked to a plugin called Fluent Forms. Now you'll need to set up the Fluent Form plugin to use that. So I'm not going to cover that in this tutorial. I actually probably wouldn't use Fluent Forms if I was putting a contact form on the page. So I might actually just remove this from the page and just use normal contact info on there, email and phone. Let's just remove those. So I might just use standard contact. And if I wanted to add a contact form on there, I'd probably use WP Forms or Contact Form 7 or maybe Happy Forms. These are the form tutorials I've already covered on the channel before. So I'll link those in the tutorial. I'll show you how to add contact forms using Elementor. But if you want to remove that form like I just did and remove the plugin as well, just go to plugins, install plugins. You'll find Fluent Forms there. You can deactivate that one and delete it if you don't want to use Fluent Forms on your site. Again, I'll link to my previous form tutorials. Adding forms to Elementor is not too difficult. If you need them, I'll show you how to do them in those tutorials. All right, congratulations if you've made it this far. I will put the Kadence headers tutorial there if you want to check that one out. Kadence has a very powerful header functionality. And the contact forms tutorial, I'll pop that there. If you want to add a contact form to your site, go ahead and do that as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.